Nowadays, with the growing financial market in the media industry, it is incredibly important that the correct approach is taken to ensure that the film is successful in its genre. This is often done through vertical integration of film companies, cross-media convergence and synergy. These are all extremely important elements in the success of a film, as they often determine how well the film is distributed to its target audience. An example of how this was demonstrated was evident in Disney's Frozen in 2013. The film released a soundtrack onto iTunes to encourage its target audience into wanting to view the film for themselves by listening to the songs in the charts. In addition to this, merchandise was sold in various stores across the country, to the extent where it was limited to 2 products per person due to the massacre of everyone wanting similar products. In a similar manner to Frozen, we attracted our target audience through the medium of soundtrack. Our product focuses largely on building and maintaining tension through the medium of soundtrack, as this is a significantly key convention in producing a thriller film. One other element that proved particularly effective at attracting an audience was the lighting. Feedback from our target audience suggests that the use of low-key lighting further embraced the tension, building and ensuring a dark and eerie atmosphere was present, something all thriller films should develop. Mise-en-scène was also considered to be particularly appealing to our target audience. The ideology that a male protagonist in a suit immediately suggests a formal occupation to the audience, but also presents a positive image of the working world. This may possibly encourage young individuals to consider an occupation they might like to do sooner rather than later, as commonly such audiences are often undecided on their own future and need some inspiration to help them find themselves. The confident and courageous attitude of the protagonist may also inspire the young target audience to act in a similar manner both around the workplace and in everyday society. The protagonist provides someone for the audience to idolise and in some cases aspire to be. Lighting played a major role in the eerie and unnerving atmosphere that we intended to create. In our filming location, artificial lighting allowed us to vary the brightness to approximately to what was necessary. One major issue of this was that due to the unavailability of our group on every planned filming date, we had to adapt to the previous filming conditions that we had created initially. Furthermore, despite many suggestions, we were not completely sure of how we would develop our ending. To avoid this issue, we had filmed a variety of footage to allow our experimentation with the editing. We did not film a specific angle that meant the footage we had hoped for was too different to be included in the editing process. Filming from a variety of different angles meant that the footage we had hoped for was not too different from the previous footage that we had captured, making the editing process much easier. After careful evaluation of our criteria and an input from the teacher, it was decided that we would continue our ideas to a certain extent, and with the footage we had, created an ending where the tension is maintained and the protagonist is clearly in distress. However, we as an audience do not know the reasons as to why the protagonist may be behaving in the way that they are. This change in plan may also be seen as a positive, as it is evidence that we have the ability to adapt as a group to our task in the event of a sudden change whilst remaining confident. Many people in our audience feedback reflected upon the ideology that a successful thriller film should use conventions that retain tension but without revealing key moments in the story in too much detail. It is also important to retain the audience's attention throughout the opening sequence to ensure that they remain for the remaining duration of the film. This must be ensured using the narrative of the plotline. The build-in tension is kept through the use of low-key lighting. Low-key lighting was used consistently throughout our opening sequence and was preferred to artificial lighting and unsuspecting atmosphere. The CCTV editing effects used suggested another presence in the building to further cause concern amongst the audience and support the idea that there is another unknown presence in the building along with the protagonist. This further built tension as the audience do not know who this person is. The fact that the audience do not know who this person is further enhances and builds tension effectively. In addition, soundtrack and mise-en-scène such as facial expressions may appeal to our target audience as it follows traditional thriller conventions and clearly demonstrates the feelings and emotions of the protagonist. In some cases, it may also foreshadow key events in the upcoming narrative. In conclusion, I believe mise-en-scène was the most significant convention in the production of our product that required key decisions, which in turn have ensured an opening sequence that is effective in its media area.